Morning. Hi, and I love you guys. Forgive me if my face is a little swollen. I've had some tooth work done recently, and I'm in the process of doing stuff. I wanted to try and send a quick message and hope that I don't veer off topic too much, but really it's about what I've learned about a lot of the ailments that I've had in my life. I've known that for quite a while. My ailments have been attached to inner traumas, either from adulthood, but mainly from childhood. You know, when your subconscious is forming and your brain is picking up information and thinking certain things are factual, and so when you pick up certain information, your body thinks it's true, and over some time, if it's not the truth, it starts making your body shut down in certain areas. There's a book out there by Yvette Rose called Metaphysical Anatomy, and it actually talks a lot about everything about what I'm talking about, but anything that ends up ailing you, even if it's a hangnail, is something that your body's trying to tell you. And yeah, you can think this is poppycock, crazy, woohoo stuff, but this is real deal shit going on here. And you could research it every single time there's something wrong with you and realize it yourself, or you could just brush it aside like it doesn't mean anything. But if you end up feeling funky enough in your body, I assure you, you'll start trying to figure out what's really going on, especially if none of the doctors can tell you definitively what's really going on, and they just put a whole bunch of labels on things, you know, that don't make much sense. But yeah, so I've known this for a while. And for those of you that truly know me, understand one thing: I've had a whole heck of a lot of trauma in my life. Most of you don't really know exactly how much, but that's okay. But the second thing is that my body, and I've had many expressions of this trauma. So in other words, I have a lot of ailments, including my legal blindness and you know, like my spine degenerating and things like that. They're mainly degenerative diseases, and a couple are labeled as like autoimmune situations. But I decided to do what I'm supposed to do and try and go to the root of what's really going on in my body. And what you're supposed to do when things happen, and this doesn't just mean what's going on in your body, let's just say you have a crazy interaction on the road or in your life, and it makes you feel a certain way. You can track that feeling. You can kind of live in that feeling for a moment so that you can feel it really good and well. Don't express anybody else to your feelings if you can help it, but feel that feeling really good and well, and see if you can remember the last time or a few times that you felt that. And then you go and you take it and you ask yourself, shoot, can I remember the first time that I felt this? And most likely you're going to remember and or feel a certain situation that and or feeling that just lets you know where this root feeling came from. And if you can go to that place and love yourself in all those situations, not thinking that it shouldn't have happened, but be grateful for the lessons that it taught you, and understanding, and maybe even talking to yourself in that space and time, saying, you know, I love you and everything's okay and you're going to make it through this, and all this is for a great purpose that you may not know right now, but will definitely become obvious to you someday. You know, that is just so very important to do so that those situations will stop creating themselves. Because what happens is we have a trauma locked within our soul or our psyche or our energy field, and we'll keep creating situations that will make us feel that same certain way that that initial trauma made us feel, until we wake up to realize what the proper outcome of that feeling should be. Not to say that you should know the original time it happened, nobody needs to know that, but to know how to respond to it with love and acceptance and compassion and understanding. That's super pivotal. And yeah, I'm a really awesomely loving person as far as I'm concerned, you know, big old ego there, but deep down there's obviously some issues going on because my body's trying to tell me. So I followed this yesterday pretty deeply and focused mainly on this, because you know, I'm feeling extremely powerless in the aspect of all of the ailments and the pain in my body and in my mouth and what have you, and the severity of the situations at this time in my life. And it became very obvious that the overwhelming feeling that I have is powerlessness. And it makes complete sense. And I actually did the whole trace it back thing, which they actually call the completion process, which is actually something Buddha did, but I don't know exactly how it was labeled or what it was called or where you can even find it. All I know is that I heard it from an awesome teacher called Teal Swan, and it helps you do your inner child work on your own. It's helpful if you have somebody, if there's some pretty deep shit, because you can really get pretty heavy. And then when I did this, it took me to a crazy situation in probably my infancy, where I felt powerless to help my mother who was addicted to some really heavy drugs and probably had herself in some very unpredictable situations. Laugh out loud, because you could totally predict everything, but I would witness these things and have no power in being able to change them. And when I felt that feeling, I ended up going to that place and time and explaining to myself that I was, just like I am now, a space holder. I was the light and love that was needed to be present in that moment to keep that person grounded, even if just by a thread. And that is purpose. And that switches that powerless feeling. And so right now I'm in the process of taking my power back from myself, because apparently I'm the one who has held it this whole time. And now knowing that, and knowing that that can be taken to each and every situation in my life and even in past lives, and ancestral healing that needs to go on in regards to the feeling of powerlessness. I have never been empowered in any shape that I have ever taken. I have always been the empowered one that was holding the space of love and light that we were created to hold. And that's what I've learned this week, and so I thought I'd share it. I love you guys. Bye.